I used to think fear was loud. A slammed door, a shadow, something obvious. Now I know the worst fear is polite, administrative, the kind that waits for you to cooperate. It started on a night I wasn't supposed to work. A last-minute text from my supervisor. "Can you cover tonight? Staffing issue. I owe you." I said yes, because rent doesn't care how tired you are. My car was still in the shop, so I walked to the bus stop under the overpass. The air was warm in the wrong way, thick and damp, and the street lights wore halos like the night was sweating. I noticed something small before anything truly bad happened. When I left my apartment, I locked the door, turned the deadbolt twice, then tried the handle again out of habit, and it opened a crack. I stood there staring into the thin black line of my own place like it was breathing. I locked it again, pulled harder, and it held. I told myself I was exhausted. I told myself it meant nothing. The bus stop was empty. Just a bench, the pole with a cloudy schedule case, and a bright ad panel for the city transit app. The ad had a huge QR code with "Scan for live updates," and underneath, "For your safety." I already had the app, but it kept freezing. That night it spun, then showed a blank map. I looked back up at the QR code, thinking about every training email that said, "Don't scan random codes," and then thinking how official it looked. City logo, clean print, .gov style branding. I told myself it was safe because it was official. I scanned it. The page opened too fast, like it had been waiting. White background, clean header, night service notice. It said there was a temporary route adjustment and that certain stops may require verification. Then it asked for the last 4 digits of my phone number to prevent disruptions. I hesitated, felt stupid for hesitating, and typed them in. The page refreshed and showed Route 14, next arrival 2:06 a.m., 19 minutes. Annoying, but at least it was information. Then a new line appeared. Stand in view of the camera for verification. I looked up and finally noticed a small black dome at the top of the pole. I stepped closer and faced it like a kid taking a school photo. My skin prickled, but I stayed still. The page displayed a progress circle. Verifying. It took too long. Then, verified. Beneath it, "Please remain at this stop. Do not relocate." I sat down because I wanted normal. I wanted the night to behave. The countdown ticked down. Then, under the polite text, another line appeared in the same font, like a system message. "We see you." My throat tightened. I blinked hard and the line vanished as if it had never existed. I told myself it was a glitch, a hacked ad, anything. I stood up anyway and backed away from the stop. My phone buzzed with a web notification I did not remember allowing. "Stay, then please, then do not relocate." The messages were small and calm, which made them worse. I tried to ignore them and walked 2 blocks to the next stop, the one closer to a late-night diner. That stop didn't have the app ad, it had a cracked schedule case. And it had someone waiting, a man in a dark coat and a cap, sitting with his hands folded. The sight of him gave me instant relief. People make the world feel real. I asked if the 14 still ran that late. He didn't answer. I tried again, joking about my app being weird. Nothing. He didn't move, not even the small movements people make when they breathe. His shoulders were too still. The air felt wrong. My phone buzzed. Wrong stop, then return. I backed away from the man, telling myself he was asleep, sick, drunk, anything. I turned toward the diner to find light and witnesses. When I reached the corner, the diner was dead dark. Not closed dark, but lifeless, like the power had been cut and the place had been abandoned for months. The neon was off. The windows were black rectangles. My phone had no service, not even searching, just emptiness. The street was empty too. No cars, no glow from apartment windows, no late-night TVs. It was as if the city had been switched off everywhere except where I was standing. My body chose the last place it understood. I walked back toward the first stop under the overpass. On the way, the swings in the park creaked as if someone had just stood up. I didn't look. I kept to the lights. When I reached the verified stop, my phone opened the page on its own. "Thank you for returning," it said. "Please sit." I didn't. I stared at the pole and the ad panel like they were part of a trap, because they were. The page kept talking in calm, procedural language. Night service is high risk. Verification reduces incidents. We appreciate compliance. I tried to call 911. The keypad worked, but pressing call did nothing. No ring, no error, just nothing. A car passed overhead on the overpass, and I almost cried from relief, waving at it like a drowning person. It didn't slow, didn't react, just vanished into the dark. Then I noticed the flyer inside the schedule case, taped neatly under the cloudy plastic like it belonged there. At the top, bold. Missing. Beneath it was my face. Not a selfie. A candid, slightly angled shot like it had been taken from above. The background was the bus stop. Under the photo was my full name, spelled correctly, and last seen near Route 14, stop at 2 a.m. If found, do not approach. Notify transit authorities. I couldn't breathe. I pressed my face close to the plastic. The paper texture was real. The tape corners were real. Someone had placed it there recently. My phone buzzed. "Do you see your notice?" That's when the fear changed from "something is watching" to "I am already in a file." Like the night wasn't trying to scare me. It was trying to process me. I turned away and walked fast toward my apartment. The notifications followed like soft hands. "Return. Stay. We can still keep you safe." The closer I got to my building, the more I expected normal to snap back into place. The lobby lights were on. The vending machine hummed. The smell of old carpet was there. Relief hit me so hard my knees felt weak. I locked the lobby door behind me and went to the elevator. The doors opened with a chime, and the elevator interior was dark. No lights, no indicator, just a black box. Then I heard a soft tapping from inside. Tap, 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 like a nail on metal. I stepped back. The tap stopped. My phone buzzed in my pocket. When I pulled it out, the page displayed one word: stairwell. I looked at the stairwell door. It looked normal, heavy metal with a small window. But normal didn't mean safe anymore. I tried the front door to leave the building. It wouldn't open. I pushed hard. Nothing. I looked through the glass and saw the sidewalk and streetlight outside, but it felt wrong, like the outside was slightly too far away, like the glass wasn't just glass. My phone buzzed again. Stairwell. Then, please. Then, we don't want an incident. That word, incident, was the worst. It was the language of systems that don't see people, only outcomes. I forced myself to think like I do on patrol. If there are rules, there are loopholes. I turned on my phone's front camera to record proof I was here. My face appeared on screen, pale and sweaty. In the reflection behind me on the screen, I saw someone standing near the elevator, a tall figure in a dark coat, cap low, hands folded, mouth slightly open. I spun around. The lobby was empty. I looked back at the screen. The figure was still there, closer now, but not in the room. In the camera, like it existed only through the lens. My skin crawled, awed. I turned the camera off. The phone buzzed. Do not disable safety tools. I walked to the stairwell door, pushed it open, and stepped into stale concrete air. The fluorescent light flickered and steadied. I climbed. First flight, normal. Second flight, normal. Third flight, colder. I reached my floor and pushed the door. It was locked. That should not happen. Stairwell doors are supposed to open from the inside. My phone buzzed. The page displayed a prompt. Verify access. Scan QR code on door. I stared at the door, and there it was. A small, fresh QR sticker, as if it had always been there. The funnel tightened. Go back down to the dark elevator or scan the code. I didn't do either. I went down one floor and tried that door. It opened. I stepped into the corridor and moved quickly toward the service hallway, the route to the secondary stairwell that leads to the parking lot. The motion lights flickered on as I walked. When I reached the other stairwell and pushed through, cold air hit my face, and I stopped dead. It wasn't a concrete stairwell. It was the bus stop under the overpass. Bench, pole, ad panel, street light buzzing. Exactly the same. Like my building had folded into a loop and fed me back to the verified stop. I turned to shut the door behind me. It wouldn't move. It stayed open, held by nothing. My phone buzzed. Welcome to night service. I scanned the street. Empty. The park swings moved slightly as if under a weight. Then a man in a dark coat walked into the edge of the light. He didn't make sound on the pavement. He stopped just outside the brightest circle and pointed at the QR code like it was the only instruction he was capable of. My phone buzzed. Scan to confirm safe pickup. I shook my head, backing away, and the man's mouth opened wider. He made a sound that wasn't quite a word, like a recording stuck at the first syllable. Stop, he breathed. My phone buzzed. Stay. The sound and the text aligned too perfectly, like the phone was speaking through him, or he was a mouth built for the system. I turned my phone completely off, hoping to cut the connection. The streetlight above the stop went out, plunging me into a dim, wrong darkness. Then my phone turned itself back on. The page reloaded. Safety tools required. Non-compliance detected. Incident risk increased. The streetlight snapped back on, and the man was closer by several feet, as if time had skipped during the darkness. Then another figure appeared near the park fence, and another under the overpass, not walking so much as being placed into position. I ran toward the brighter streets, toward where the city should be alive, but every direction curved back like a loop. After 2 frantic attempts, I understood. I was inside a controlled circuit, and every road drained into the same stop. When I staggered back, gasping, a bus rumbled into view. Route 14. 14 night service glowing on the LED sign. The doors opened. Warm light spilled out. Relief hit me, immediate and foolish, because it looked like rescue. The driver sat behind the plexiglass barrier in shadow. I couldn't see his eyes, only his mouth slightly open. On the door glass, a small QR sticker waited. My phone buzzed and displayed a large QR code generated just for me. Present for pickup. I stared at it and finally understood the real mechanism. It wasn't trying to scare me into running. It was trying to turn me into a pattern. A thing that could be scanned, verified, archived. It wanted me to cooperate with my own reduction. I didn't scan anything. I just held my phone up so the sticker could see it. A soft beep sounded from inside the bus. My phone buzzed, confirmed. The speaker above the driver's seat chimed in a flat voice. Please board. I stepped up carefully, keeping my breathing controlled, refusing to panic. The interior smelled like disinfectant and old upholstery. The seats were empty except the back row, where a man sat perfectly still in a dark coat, hands folded, mouth slightly open. I didn't look at him long. I sat near the front where I could see the driver area and the small mounted screens. 3 feeds, one on the door, one on the aisle, one on the bus stop outside. In the 3rd screen, I saw myself on the steps, tense, holding my phone. Behind me, at the bus stop, I saw another version of me sitting on the bench. hands folded, mouth slightly open, waiting. I turned my head to look through the door window. The bench outside was empty. I looked back at the screen. The sitting version was still there. Then its head turned slightly, tracking me, and its mouth opened wider. "Star," it breathed. The bus doors hissed shut behind me. The engine rumbled and the bus rolled forward. The city outside slid by in a loop. Underpass, park, stop, again and again. At each stop, the bus slowed but never opened its doors. The speaker crackled. "Next stop, verification." We turned down a side street I didn't recognize. Darker, fewer lights, blank windows. The bus stopped at another bus stop that looked identical. Another glowing ad panel, another QR code waiting like a signature line. The doors opened. Cold air rushed in. The speaker said, "Please exit for final verification." I stayed seated. Then I heard a soft shift behind me. The man from the back row stood up. In the aisle camera feed, he approached without footstep sound, coat dark, face wax pale, mouth slightly open. He stopped beside my seat and whispered the broken syllable again in that almost speaker voice. "Star." My phone buzzed in my pocket like a pulse. "Exit." You agreed. That line hit harder than anything else because it was true. Somewhere in the first scan, the first tap, the first time I typed those digits and stood under that camera, I had agreed to something I didn't read. Terms, consent, permissions. The bus waited with its door open like a mouth. I stood up slowly, not sudden, not panicked, and walked off. Under the streetlight, I faced the ad panel. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the phone. I did not scan. I held my phone up to the QR code so it could read me. The screen flashed white, my phone vibrated once long and deep, and the page vanished. For 1 second, my normal lock screen appeared. My wallpaper, my usual icons, like the world was returning. Then plain black text on white loaded, "Thank you. Your identity has been archived." Behind me, the bus doors hissed shut. The engine rumbled away, leaving me alone at the stop. I tried to unlock my phone. It didn't recognize my fingerprint. My passcode came back incorrect, as if my hands were mine, but my identity wasn't. I looked at the ad panel. The QR code was gone, replaced by a transit safety notice. At the top, missing person alert. My name, my photo, this time taken from above, from the streetlight just seconds ago. My face turned up, eyes wide, holding a phone I could no longer unlock. Under it, in tidy official text, "Last seen complying." And beneath that, smaller, like a final instruction, "If you see this person, do not engage. Do not respond if they speak. Do not make eye contact." I swallowed and turned slowly, and across the street in the dark, just beyond the streetlight's circle, someone sat perfectly still on the bench with my posture, my folded hands, my slightly open mouth, waiting for the next person to scan.